Please share your thoughts in comments and like this video. In the realm of adventurers and guilds, Golden Hawk's guild master Lucius is talking to Laurent Gil about the guild circumstances. Soon, he announced that Gil was fired, as he was unfit to be a member of their guild according to his records. Gil trembled with rage, as the guild exploited every little bit of his skill to recruit members for them. He hit the desk and inquired Lucius why they were firing him, when he had been making contributions to the guild, using his skill, appraisal. But Lucius looked away and showed that he disliked talking to him. Skills are miraculous abilities that people are born with. People will choose their professions based on their own skills. People who have battle skills would become adventurers, and those with alchemy skills become alchemists. Likewise, Gil has been using his skill, appraisal, to discover other guild members' hidden skills and help them improve. For example, there was a D-rank swordsman in his guild and he noticed his hidden talent in magic. It helped him to become a B-rank magician who was 2 levels stronger than a D rank. As a result, Golden Hawk has grown into a big guild with excellent members joining them. In the beginning, Lucius and Gil were very close friends. However, Gil discovered Lucius's hidden skill and helped him improve it. That's when the gap between them started to grow. Lucius obtained a powerful skill and rapidly stood out among adventurers. On the other hand, Gil has trouble socializing with people, so been supporting Lucius from behind the scenes. He even let Lucius take all the credit. With that setup, Lucius climbed to the guild's top fast, while Gil remained an ordinary guild member. Even so, he continued his work happily, as he did everything for the guild and Lucius. But the gratitude he got for that was betrayal. Lucius got mad as Gil wanted to argue. He tried to list out his achievements, but Lucius acted clueless. In the end, Gil pointed out his achievements in recruiting new members and training them for the guild. But Lucius doesn't acknowledge that response. He explains that as an adventurer, Gil should know that achievement means everything. Lucius hands a file to his assistant Diane, asking her to read it out loud. Diane began to read Gil's record for the past month, in a mocking manner. He was 98th out of 100 members in the number of monsters defeated, 76th in items collected, and 86th in quests cleared. Gil slowly closes his mouth as Diane reports his rankings. Afterwards, he tries to defend himself, but Lucius doesn't give him the opportunity. Lucius teased Gil for those rankings, as a veteran who joined the guild more than 5 years ago. He wanted to cover up for him, but things have changed as Lucius needs to consider the whole guild. Lucius has a farewell gift for Gil, which is a cheap amount of money. Lucius explained that he didn't want to set a bad example for other members, for paying a loser like him. So he asked Gil to get out with that money. Gil shakes in anger, as he's always been so devoted to the guild and Lucius until now. In the end, this is all he gets in return. Seeing Gil contemplating, Lucius wondered whether he didn't need that money. He teased him that it was such a large amount for someone like him. Gil finally realized how much of a fool he had been. He takes the bag before leaving, while hearing Lucius's and Diane's sarcastic laugh. He vowed to never forget about this incident. As he walks through town, he curses Lucius in his mind. He just doesn't understand why he had to be kicked out. Gil has done so much for the guild, and his awful adventurer record is the product of the Lucius plot against him. Lucius would group him with people who were unsuitable for quests on purpose. Like when he needed a ranger to complete a quest, he would assign a swordsman. He then failed to provide their group with necessary items, like potions during crucial situations. Even so, Gil did his best for everything. But in the end, the person he trusted and supported without any reservation, discarded him without any hesitation. He couldn't hold his anger at the thought of that. Gil will never forgive Lucius. He was determined to drag Lucius out of his prestigious position, which he had obtained due to his help. With that determination, he left the Golden Hawk Guild. Even if he needed to start over, he was determined to climb to the top as an adventurer. He went to the Adventurers Guild to acquire his first job, as an independent adventurer after leaving Golden Hawk. He reminds himself to stay strong, if he wants to teach Lucius a lesson one day. But as he walked nearer to the counter, many people ridiculed him. He feels the atmosphere become heavy. Gil still put on a big smile, and asked the receptionist if there's work for an appraiser. But the woman says they have no jobs. But he knew that something was fishy, as there's no way there are no jobs. The receptionist then explains that there were 0 jobs suitable for him. He asks the receptionist to search again, but she doesn't did anything, and says that she tried and found none. From behind, Gil hears other adventurers whisper about him, saying it's impossible to make a living in this town, after getting kicked out of Golden Hawk. He gets it now, Lucius is behind all this drama. He wanted to know what happened to this damn world. Everyone's minds are filled with Golden Hawk, and no one hired him. That receptionist was so kind to Gil before, but now everyone locks him out of the friendships. He thought he had earned many friendships in his life, but it all collapsed over a single night. As Gil walks around town, his feet become sore, making him too weary to walk. No matter how much tried, the only thing he can see is the dark reality. He was sure that he could have a new job only if it wasn't a Lucius scheme. Suddenly, a man bumps into him. Before the man can confront Gil, his friend stops him, as it's better to leave that guy alone. He asked him to look at his face. Nothing good will happen after being involved with a person with that kind of face. Gil somehow finds himself at a park and rests on a bench. He was too tired. Even if he tries to regain what he lost, he just knows they'll all slide through his fingers. Everything about Gil is denied, everything has been taken away from him, everything's lost. Negative thoughts flooded Gil's mind as he wanted to give up everything. That's when someone calls out to him. A voice which showed him hopes among the darkness. It's Lilianne Lausier, an adventurer from the Guardians of the Magic Tree. She had blonde hair and blue eyes. They haven't met since the last quest they did together. Lilianne was grateful for him, as he discovered her hidden skill, floating. It greatly improved her magic's accuracy, and now she's risen to rank A. Gil congratulates her, but just one look at his downcast expression tells Lilianne something's wrong. If Gil doesn't mind, she wants to know what happened to him. After hearing Gil's been kicked out, made Lilianne so angry. She almost faints, but Gil caught before that and inquired whether she was okay. Lilianne apologizes for making Gil worry. She then asked him to explain about his situation fully. They went to a restaurant and shared the story over the food, but even if Lilianne asks Gil to tell her about the situation, he's not sure how it happened himself. Laurel understands he's limited as an adventurer, because his only ability is skill appraisal. Lilianne also agreed that Gil was not suitable for battles, but she also knew that he's made great advances for the guild using his skill. He developed countless talented members using skill appraisal. Lilianne always thought that as long as Gil was there, Guardians of the Magic Tree could never compare to Golden Hawk, but they kicked him out and Lilianne wondered what Lucius was even thinking. Gil also didn't know the reason behind Lucius' actions. Lilianne felt depressed for his sake. Seeing her like that made him forget all his sorrows, and Gil asked her to not feel depressed, as Golden Hawk isn't the only guild in the world. After hearing that, Lilianne proposed to create a new guild. Gil was shocked to hear that. Lilianne smiles, suggesting they create an alchemy guild. The Guardians of the Magic Tree are in great demand for earthcraft at the moment. It was the mineral used for weapon repair. However, the guilds that can produce it all prioritize Golden Hawk's orders. Lilianne's guild can't outplay Golden Hawk with this condition. That's why they need a guild that won't be influenced by Golden Hawk. That's the only way the Guardians of the Magic Tree can improve as a guild as well. With Gil's ability, he can discover and train people with alchemy skills. If Gil works on this, he'll one day have a better guild than Golden Hawk. But Gil refused, as training people and being a leader are very different jobs. Lilianne could feel his concerns, but she believed that Gil had the talent to be a leader. She knew that Gil could create a guild that's better than Golden Hawk. Gil contemplates Lilianne's words, whether he could do it, or will he ultimately fail and break Lilianne's hope and trust. After a moment of silence and a heavy sigh, Gil responds, he'll create a guild that stands out from the others. Lilianne knew that Gil would agree, as he's the person she admires. She also blushed at that time. Now that's decided, she called the waiter. Lilianne planned to celebrate Gil's new step and paid for their meal. Gil thanked her and promised to treat her next time. Lilianne immediately stood up and went to the other side. She held Gil's hand and dragged him for a guild registration on that day itself. She wanted to announce the opening of his guild tomorrow. Later that day, Laurent finds himself at the guild application office. The officer reviews their form and approves the application of an alchemy guild. Gil was amazed as they created a guild within a day. He thanked Lilianne for everything. Lilianne complimented the name of Gil's guild, Spirit Arsenal. Their goal is to transform Spirit Arsenal into the finest alchemy guild in town. The first task on the list is to enlist members. According to Gil's knowledge, they need to locate skilled refiners, a workshop manager, and silversmiths. It seems like a daunting task, and Gil doubts whether they could find so many people. However, Gil doesn't need to fret, he has Lilianne's unwavering support. She is fully committed to helping him achieve their goals for the guild. The day after, Gil felt very tired. Many people came for interviews, because Lilianne recommended them. Gil interviewed a lot of people, but none of them were right for the job. He was frustrated that despite Lilianne's help, he hadn't found anyone good yet. But he didn't want to give up. He hoped the next person he interviewed would be the right fit. After talking to many people, he understands that it's not easy to find someone talented. This applicant isn't suitable either. He rejected another applicant once again and he left the store in anger. This is totally a waste of time. He then asked the next person to enter, as he pleaded to the god to give him a talented person. A girl named Ari applies for the silversmith position. That's the position he was in need of. When Laurent checks her skills, he's amazed. Ari has the potential to become a rank A in or refining. She has first-class talent. But the job she was applying for was silversmith. Ari only had the ability to improve to D. So Gil inquired the reason behind her actions, and came to know that was her previous job. Ari also isn't interested in silver crafting. So Gil suggested she become a refiner. Gil wanted her to accept that job, as he lied that it was the only position he needed then. Ari takes time to respond, as it was a new job which she had no experience in. She remembered her expulsion from her previous job. She was willing to do any job, as long as she got hired. After confirming that Ari had no questions about the job, Gil ends the interview and thanks Ari for coming. In this world, the result would be mailed to the applicant's home. After leaving, Ari wonders if she'll fail again. After her previous guild fired her, Ari has faced many interviews and failed each time. Spirit Arsenal is her last chance, but she doesn't want to get her hopes up too high. The next day, Ari receives a mail. She opened it with a doubt, but that letter made her very happy. She was thinking of giving up her dream, if she didn't get the job. Ari never imagined she would be hired by this new guild, supported by the big guild, the Guardians of the Magic Tree. Now she can continue working in an alchemy workshop. She rushes to the Spirit Arsenal Guild, and happily greets Gil, who responds with equal enthusiasm. Ari is eager to meet her new co-workers, however, it surprises her that she is the only one who got hired. Without minding her concern, Gil proceeded to show her the workshop. Maybe Ari wondered whether to tell her new boss that she can't refine well. If not, she might get scolded again. She was fired from her previous job for wasting too much resources. It's not easy to get this job, but she worried that she would disappoint her boss and would be fired like before. But Ari can't bring herself to admit the truth. Gil notices that Ari seems uneasy. When she says it's nothing, he shows her the workshop. Everything in the workshop is for her. Ari is amazed at how well everything is prepared. Now, it's time for her to work, and Gil confirmed that she only knew the most basic refining methods. She was determined to do it well, but she had to stop her shivering first for that. Ari takes iron and throws it in the furnace. Then, she needs to adjust the heat. She managed to do it well for some time. Next, she needed to increase the temperature of the fire a bit. But she got nervous and the iron heated up almost immediately. Even though she paid her full attention, the mineral got burnt. She took out the ore and started hammering it. It was a failure as the condition kept worsening. The hammer was also too heavy for her and she felt she was unfit to be a refiner. Ari feels she's not good enough, but she tries her best. She finishes her first batch but messes up 9 blocks and makes only one good block of rank D. She apologizes, and Gil, the boss, reviews the blocks. Ari worries if she'll lose her job. But surprisingly, Gil praises her work. He thinks she's talented and is glad he hired her. She managed to make a rank D block iron so fast. Ari is shocked but happy. She wanted to clean up and get ready for the next batch. Gil says she doesn't have to worry about cleaning. He only wants her to learn and use her talent well. Ari was confused as no other guild treated her that way. She was always scolded for wasting even a tiny bit of materials. But Gil wanted to make sure to meet everything she needs. Ari never thought that she could focus on refining like that. She felt as if she's a professional now. At first she thought she couldn't make it, but she managed to make a great progress as a newbie. Ari keeps working on refining with Gil's help. No matter how many ores she wasted, Gil supplied her with more ores. Many days had passed like that and she successfully created a block of rank C iron. Ari is thrilled as she knew it was thanks to Gil, allowing her to focus on her work. She was glad as she didn't just waste the precious materials. She runs to Gil's office to show him the block. However, Gil has different plans. He was glad to see the progress, and asked her to keep up the pace. Ari wanted to sell that. But Gil rejected that idea. He didn't hire Ari just to make and sell C-rank blocks for a small amount of money. Gil asks Ari to refine a rank A metal out of all those ores. Ari finds it hard even for rank A refiner. Even though Gil trusts her, Ari thinks it's impossible. Instead of arguing, Gil guides her back to work, as they have refining to do. Even though Gil felt sorry for pressuring her, he knew she had room for improvement. Ari upgraded quickly to rank C, but now she needs to work harder to refine rank A metals from ores. Gil isn't worried, Ari is almost there. He can do nothing but watch over, as he wanted to bet on her talent and efforts. Ari refined ore, feeling unsure about it. Gil being there made her feel calm. Maybe her sudden worry came from her fear that one day the person helping her would leave. She felt uneasy whenever she thinks of that. But Ari won't let her fear control her. She really doesn't want to lose this job. She wants to be useful to Gil, who believes in her. With these thoughts driving her, Ari is determined to turn all the iron blocks into top quality ones. She aims to become an A-rank refiner. On the first day, Ari felt burned as the heat got into her eyes. She struggled to shape the ores well. But by the third day, she starts getting used to the refiner's life. A week later, Ari has spent many hours working hard. Her hands hurt from hitting the iron so many times. But all the hard work pays off. With Gil by her side, Ari is amazed at her latest creation, an A-rank iron block. Tears fill her eyes as she thanks him. But Gil thinks no thanks is necessary, because he just gave Ari a place to discover her talent. The rest was her own effort and determination. He complimented her, "Well done." Ari starts crying when she hears the praise. But it's Gil who should thank her for working so hard. Now that the refiner position is filled, he can hire silversmiths and a manager. Then, Gil can aim to make Spirit Arsenal the best guild in town. 1 month after creating Spirit Arsenal, Gil stored up a lot of materials. They managed to increase the production faster. The fact that he needs to worry about such things is very encouraging for him. Lilianne visits the guild at that time, and let's call her Lily from now on. Gil wanted to prepare tea for her, but Lily denied that as Gil was busy with work. She sees that Gil is much better now, not sad anymore. Before Lily and Gil catch up, Ari shows up with an earthcraft. Ari is surprised to see Lily there. Lily is quite famous in their town. Gil quickly introduces the refiner, and then asks her to show Lily what she made. Lily is amazed by the wonderful earthcraft, but that's not all Ari created. She made all the items stored in the guild. Even though she did a great job, Ari modestly says she just followed Gil's instructions. Lily thinks Ari deserves recognition, as she couldn't have made such an excellent product if she only followed orders. She smiles kindly at Ari and makes a promise. She and her friends from the magic tree will try their best in their quests. She asked to wait to hear their achievements at the later time. Ari was happy to receive compliments. Afterwards, Gil guided Lily to the exit, and he thanked her for help. It was revealed that Gil asked Lily to come over, as he wanted Ari to be more confident. When Gil asked Lily to come over, she worried that something bad had happened. But that proved to be unnecessary. She patted Gil to compliment him. She's not surprised that Gil managed to nurture Ari well, as it was his specialty. She wished to stay with him longer, but she got to go now. She was determined to show her achievements to Gil the next time. Meanwhile, in the mansion of the Golden Hawk, a young man came running there. He announced Lady Jill is back and asked everyone to get out of the way. Every worker stands in a line at the Golden Hawk's Guild Hall to greet Lady Jill Irwin, the knight in armor. She returned after completing her quest, and she was one of the famous adventurers of the Golden Hawk Guild. She disliked being greeted like that, but they didn't heed her words. She wonders why the guild master, Lucius, made this rule. Jill wasn't the type of person who likes this fancy welcome. It reminds her of how she became a knight. It was all thanks to Laurent Gil. He saw potential in Jill to be an armor knight. At first, she didn't believe him. How could she be a knight when she couldn't wear heavy armor due to lack of stamina? But Gil didn't give up. He believed they could improve her stamina through tough training. Thus Gil's strict training began. With his guidance, Jill trained hard to build her strength. She also practiced fighting up close, something she wasn't good at. Gil made sure she became skilled both in attacking and defending. She was soaking with sweat just looking back on those days. The training was so harsh. After receiving such training for a long time, Gil concluded their training. She thought she was ready to be a tank, but Gil wanted her to be a DPS armor knight. He needed Jill to be an all-rounder who could do both offense and defense. Jill felt really disappointed because she had just learned how to use a shield. Gil sensed her sadness and encouraged her. He believed she could do it, even though she didn't believe in herself. He lifted her up and asked her to follow him. Jill wondered where he was taking her. Just like that, they reached the end of the hallway. To her surprise, Gil took her to a special armory for high-ranking members. Behind the doors, there was a sword. It was specifically made just for Jill. She was surprised because someone of her rank usually didn't get such a weapon. She wondered how the guild could afford it. Then she realized that Gil had arranged for it himself. His actions and words made her understand that he truly believed in her. Gil's unwavering support motivated Jill to become the armor knight he had imagined. Then it was time for Jill to go to the dungeon and practice with fellow rookies. Jill's first mission was to defeat the golem. Their leader warned them to prepare for an enemy attack. But they didn't expect to face a huge stone golem. One strike from the monster showed how strong it was. The leader ordered everyone to retreat. Jill had never seen a mighty monster like that. In the end, Jill didn't listen to the leader's orders. She recalled what she learned and why she struggled to do such painful training. It was all for this moment. Since the golem was made of stone, she believed she could cut it into 2 pieces. Jill jumped high and struck the golem with her blade. With one cut, she defeated the golem. It was cut into half by one swing of her blade. It shocked the whole members of the party. Because of her training, Jill became the first newbie to defeat 3 golems in her first battle. All she could think about was whether Gil would praise her. Jill got called back by the guild quickly when she came back. Since Jill was able to defeat 3 golems, Lucius wondered if she could do more difficult quests. Jill wanted to do more training, but Lucius disagreed. He wanted to give her harder tasks. She heard about the new trail designed by Gil, that was to defeat 5 golems. But she didn't get a chance to finish the test until today. Instead of being a regular archer forever, she became powerful thanks to Gil. After the meeting, she went to Gil's room. She was excited to see Gil after a long time. She had a lot of things to talk about with Gil. She wanted to tell him everything in her mind. But when she opened Gil's door, she didn't find him. There was a stranger inside. The guild worker kneels and greets her, but Jill stops him from doing that. She then inquired about the whereabouts of Gil. The worker reveals Gil has already been banished from the Golden Hawk. She doesn't understand why Gil was sent away. There must be a mistake. Jill quickly goes to Lucius's office. Inside the office, Lucius was having his sweet time with Diane. Jill didn't care about that and inquired about Gil. She knew that Lucius kicked him out due to misunderstanding. When they hear Gil's name, Lucius and Diane became mad. Lucius explained that Gil is now working with a sorceress from Guardians of the Magic Tree. They became friends after a mission they did together. Gil not only helped the sorceress improve her skills, he also became very loyal to her. It hurts Lucius to think that Gil had betrayed them, after forgetting the favors he got from Golden Hawk. He totally changed the story and lied to Jill. After hearing all the details, Jill feels upset. She rushed out of the room without hearing any further. She believes there's a good reason for what's happening. Jill was determined to save Gil from that. The next day, a party from Golden Hawk went to a dungeon. A scout of the party noticed multiple goblins approaching and reported it to the captain. The party's captain calmly tells everyone to attack from a distance. The archer and sorcerer readied their arrows and spells respectively. The sorcerer used explosion magic and killed the goblins, and the archer shot the enemies accurately. Soon, the enemy has been eliminated. The captain of the party named Marco felt that was easy peasy. When Lucius gave Marco this task, he wondered what would happen, but it was too easy for them. Marco ordered everyone to venture deep into the dungeon. With their modern up-to-date gear and strong warriors who deserve those gears, plus Marco, who considers himself as an intelligent brain and Golden Hawk's lethal weapon, he wants to make this large-scale dungeon conquest after a long time a great success. Suddenly, one of the members came running to the party. He revealed the scouts had managed to reach the deepest part of the dungeon. Marco was surprised to hear that. He asked the whole party to hurry up as he wanted to conquer the dungeon as soon as possible. Marco was shocked when he saw rows of coffins in the cavern. He wondered if big dungeons always looked like this. Marco told a guild member to check one side, and another guild member looked inside an open coffin. The coffins had skeletons inside them. A guild member came to report something, but he didn't listen. Marco let the whole party to take a break until he thought of a plan. Marco was frustrated, because he knew they can't fight that much enemies. Their weapons were old and worn out, they also didn't have enough earthcraft to repair them. Also, the team was tired. He was struggling to make a decision. If Marco failed this conquest, Lucius would definitely fire him. The guild member who came earlier goes to talk to the upset captain with a message. But Marco was in a bad mood, so he asked him to tell him later. Marco realizes it's very hard to win against the group of skeletons. Suicide attack might work, but it's a stupid idea, considering the casualties it would cause. The captain tells his men to retreat. They will share the information with the guild to prepare perfectly for next time. Everyone was surprised by Marco's orders. But a guild member dares to question Marco's orders. He wanted to try at least once. Marco got mad and explained the reason to that member. It would result in a great loss. They don't have enough supplies, earthcraft and other stuff for this fight. Even though they have decent strong soldiers, without an armor knight or a sorcerer, who could use large area spells, it would be impossible to break through. It would just result in heavy loss if they lose soldiers and expensive gears. That's when the member revealed there was another force there. Marco became mad and asked them why they didn't inform him about that before. But he tried. Marco was too angry to listen. It's none other than the Guardians of the Magic Tree's main force, led by Lily. Marco fell silent and the member was afraid of the dense atmosphere. He then burst into laughter. He takes back his previous order. They couldn't miss this chance as he was sure of their victory. While Marco is busy talking, the Guardians of the Magic Tree's main force starts attacking. The tank stands at the front, taking hits from the undead with his shield. A swordsman with 2 swords follows closely, bashing the enemies away. The swordsman lands gracefully in the middle of the skeleton army. He quickly slices one undead in half. But its friend attacked him from his blind spot. The archer noticed it beforehand and drew his bow. He shoots a headshot, covering for the swordsman. The swordsman expressed his thanks and charged again with the backup of the archer. Marco teased the lower guild starting their attack. A guild member wonders why they aren't hurrying to beat the others. Marco asks a guild member to examine the magic tree's damaged weapons. Golden Hawk has taken all the earthcraft in town for weapon repair. If the experienced adventurers can't fix their weapons, they can't defeat the large number of monsters. Marco and his team have to wait for the magic tree's main force to completely destroy their weapons, which won't take long. So he tells the team to get ready for battle. The Golden Hawk team prepared to enter the fight while the Guardians finished the first wave of monsters. The guild member asked Marco when they would strike. Marco wanted to attack after the fireworks, which meant a large area spell attack. Just like his prediction, Lily raises her magic staff high, preparing to cast a powerful spell. Multiple magic circles surround her, indicating she's about to strike. A massive thunderbolt hits the ground, and decimates all the skeletons, creating a huge crater. Marco was amused by such a great power, but he knows Lily can't use her magic continuously. This is their chance to win, and they plan to give the victory to their guild master, Lucius. But unexpectedly, the Guardians of the Magic Tree did something Marco never anticipated. The archer, tank, and swordsman repair their weapons using earthcraft from Gil's shop. He wondered how the Guardians got earthcraft on their hands, since it was monopolized by their guild. If this continues, they will lose. Golden Hawk's party rushes to deal the final blow to steal the rewards. Since the rewards would be given to the person who killed the last monster. But Lily won't let them take the victory that belongs to them. Instead of resting, Lily prepares for another round of her powerful Thunderbolt spell, shocking her party members. This is the final blow from her. It caused another huge explosion. Marco stopped with a shocked expression, as he knew it had ended. Lily's spell clears the remaining undead. It pushes her to her limits, but she succeeds. She got the best result as she promised to Gil, and they have conquered the dungeon. Marco fell down on his knees as he failed the dungeon conquest. They even have precious material as reward. Lily wanted to give that to Gil. Marco returned to the guild and gave his report to the guild master, Lucius. Lucius was mad as Marco just watched as their enemy conquering the dungeon. Lucius looked fierce, making Marco shiver. He tried to defend himself, as it wasn't his fault. Magic Tree somehow got earthcraft, which messed up Marco's deductions. Lucius didn't buy Marco's excuse. Lucius was shamed by Marco's action, who is the elite member of the guild. Marco apologized, but the guild master demoted him and told him to leave. Lucius asked Diane if there was a replacement ready for Marco's leader position. Diane suggested Jill, who got achievements in Rookie's dungeon exploration. Lucius thought she wasn't ready, as she still had lingering feelings about Gil's banishment. Despite Marco's failure, they found it odd that Magic Tree had earthcraft. Golden Hawk controlled all earthcraft in town, so Diane suspected a traitor among the guilds. Lucius banged his fist on the desk and ordered Diane to call representatives from each guild. He was determined to find the traitor and crush the Guardians of the Magic Tree. At Spirit Arsenal Guild, Ari heard a loud noise and rushed to Gil's office. He assured her everything was fine, just a broken teacup. Ari disagreed, noticing Gil was overworking himself. He was handling his regular work, training 4 new hires, and conducting interviews. It was time for the interviews again, and Ari moved to clean it. Gil also agreed with Ari, his workload is very heavy. He needed someone with workshop management skills fast. He hoped the next interviewee would be suitable. The Spirit Arsenal had been making great progress. Just like he hoped, he came across a new applicant. His name is Ling Ryals, an applicant for mineral mining. Gil saw potential in him as he had rank A in mining. But Gil was sure that Ling could shine even brighter by polishing. Ling had rank A potential in workshop, store, and mine management as well. Gil offered him a job at Spirit Arsenal Guild with one condition. He wants Ling to work on workshop management. Ling hesitated a bit, but he agreed when Gil promised full support. Ling never worked in management, so he is not confident about it at all. But he agreed to do it due to Gil's insistence. Gil wasted no time training Ling, starting with explaining the work. Gil gives a magical accounting book to Ling. Gil was surprised as Ling already knew about the book, he had seen it in town before. Gil tells him to write his name in the accounting book, it was the best way to practice. When Ling followed the instructions, the numbers in the book floated magically in the air. Gil confirmed that Ling didn't know how to use that book. This special item can calculate expenses automatically, but the user needs workshop management skills to use it. Gil shows him how to reduce the numbers by organizing the data. Gil was sure Ling would understand more when he practiced. They move to another part of the building. Gil asks if he knows why the numbers decreased. Ling answers correctly. By summarizing the data, they eliminated waste and reduced expenses for the guild. This will be his job as the workshop manager, to cut costs by reducing waste. Ling had his own doubts, but he declares he'll do his best, and as he eliminates waste, the guild's expenses keep decreasing. Ling enjoyed his new job, which is suitable for him. Gil was glad to see Ling enjoying his job. The next day, Lily invites Gil for tea to celebrate their victory in the dungeon conquest. Because of this victory, the guild achieved first place in the number of monsters defeated. Lily contributed the success to Gil for providing them supplies. She thanked him for his help and Gil is happy to hear this news. Gil inquired whether she found a new mine and confirmed that. He wanted to use ores that they got from there. This is perfect for Lily because she wanted to order gear from Spirit Arsenal. However, Gil refused to accept that order. Seeing him hesitating, Lily inquired whether Gil had any problems. Gil reveals the guild doesn't have enough money to produce gear. The bank refused to provide a loan to Gil. There's a way to get the loan if their profit ratio increases. Lily wondered how much it was. Gil could get a 50 million gold loan if their profit ratio increased by 5%. Gil knows this increase will be challenging. He then hit the desk and stood up. He believes Spirit Arsenal can achieve it and deliver the gear Lily needs. Lily also believed that Gil would keep up his promise. Later that day, Ari was on her way to refine as usual, so that she could return Gil's favor. But hurried Ling came from behind her. He accidentally bumps into Ari and she falls down. Gil helps by explaining that Ling is in a rush because of the harsh quota for the month. Gil wanted to watch over Ling to reduce his stress at work. Ling arrives at the workshop. His only focus is on increasing the profit ratio. They have achieved only a 2% increase so far, which is not enough. Ling decides to push the workers and their tools to the limit in order to complete the tasks quickly. However, this leads to using damaged magic items like hammers, causing problems. Ling still pushes the workers irrespective of those poor conditions. Because he won't complete the task in time at that pace. Suddenly he hears an explosion behind him. The magical item broke and the worker got burnt badly. The whole workshop was in the midst of confusion. Ling finally stops everyone from working. He wonders why this is all happening. As Gil approaches, he can only apologize for his mistakes. He hasn't been careful and wonders if Ling has been prioritizing safety. But Ling knew that they wouldn't be able to meet the quota if they checked for safety for every single material. Gil understands the pressure to meet the profit ratio increase. In a gentle voice, Gil tells Ling that he doesn't need to achieve the 5% goal right away. He believes in Ling's talent and asks him to be patient and believe in himself as he grows. He was sure that they could achieve more in the future like that. Ling's eyes widen as he understands. After hearing Gil's encouragement, he excuses himself. He decided to take things at his own pace, so he was determined to not make any mistakes. Ari comes to Gil to inquire whether Ling was okay. Gil tells her not to worry about him. He was sure Ling understood his hints. Ling instructs the workers while reminding himself, "Don't rush, be patient." But the work took too much time. He wondered whether it was okay to take it slow. Suddenly, Ling sees good results in the magic accounting book after checking every material thoroughly. The work's progressing very fast. Ling decided to check everywhere to make sure the workshop is safe. Finally, Ling understands how to work efficiently. Suddenly, Ling's eyes became blurred for a moment. After his sight came, he saw things that weren't there before. Numbers float around the workshop, like in the accounting book. This happens because Ling's workshop management skill ranked up. He can see and prevent accidents before they happen. Days pass without any accidents. The occupational accidents hit 0, thanks to Ling's focus on safety. Ari was relieved to see Ling different from before, as he came to understand the importance of safety. Gil was sure that everything would go well at that rate. Because of this, profits increased by 5%. Now, they can get a loan and make gear for Guardians of the Magic Tree. Ling was overjoyed by his achievement. But first, Spirit Arsenal needs ores. Gil gives Ling a pass to get what they need from a dungeon. But Ling was worried as he would waste the pass if fail the mission. But Gil believes that Ling would succeed no matter what. Seeing Gil's trust in him, Ling asked him to wait for the good news and left that place. Now, they can finally start to make the gear. With Ling's excellent mining skill, Gil is confident this task will be easy. As Gil was happy about their achievements, Ari informed him that they have a guest. It was none other than Diane, one of Golden Hawk's elite members and Lucius's secretary. She criticizes the guild's workshop harshly. When Gil questions her presence, Diane criticized him for his attitude. She wanted to remind him of his position. Gil was just a guild master of a small guild, while she is the elite member of the top guild in the town. That's when Ling came to report something to Gil. But Gil asked him to bring tea. He didn't want to discuss personal matters with the presence of an outsider. When Ling brought her tea, she teased it as cheap. Ling became irritated after seeing Diane's arrogance. Ling then asked the same question of what's her business with them. She once again teased them for their attitude. Diane offers Spirit Arsenal a chance to become Golden Hawk's subsidiary. Ling is shocked but listens to the proposition. Since it must be difficult to make a living with the small workshop, she was kind enough to save them. Seeing her arrogance, Ling couldn't control himself and shouted at her. He looked at Gil for support. But Gil wanted to consider it after hearing their conditions. Diane wants Spirit Arsenal to sell a rank iron for 100 gold each, a price much lower than its original value, 300 gold. She wanted to see the miserable face Gil would make. But Gil surprisingly agrees to the condition. Diane was shocked and became flustered. It was now Ling's chance to laugh at her mockingly. Diane then criticized Gil as a fool, and revealed that she was there just to mock him. She hit the desk with great anger, and left the Spirit Arsenal after being humiliated. She can't fathom why Gil accepted the impossible deal which would leave in a loss. She could never find a way how Gil could earn profit in that deal. In the end, she suspects that Lily would help him. She felt disgusted at both the sugar mommy and the kept man. Meanwhile, Count Elson has summoned Lucius for an important matter in his luxurious mansion. He invited Lucius there as he wanted him to do something for him. Lucius also agreed to do anything for the Count. The Count's daughter will soon get married, so he wants to get silverware for her dowry. Elson knows many alchemy guilds work under Lucius, and he has the most splendid alchemists. So, the Count invites Lucius, the leader of the Golden Hawks Guild, to a silverware fair he's hosting. Count Elson plans to make this fair a regular event for their town from then onwards. Having Lucius's guild compete will make the event lively. Elson is sure it will be a great occasion, with alchemists from everywhere competing based on their skills. The creation of the first champion of this big event will become his daughter's dowry. This event would also honor his daughter's name through the years to come. Lucius became silent and Elson inquired about his opinion about this. Lucius confidently declares that he will win the competition. Elson expected Lucius to say that. He also revealed there will be quite a fortune as reward as well, which would encourage him more. Elson toasted a celebratory drink in advance. Lucius accepts the wine with a charming smile, even though he secretly curses the extravagant nobleman. He'll go along with it because it's a good chance to show his abilities. Golden Hawk will undoubtedly make the best silverware. While Lucius is impressing the nobleman, Gil visits the Adventurers Guild. He went to the quest reception office for the first time in a while. The receptionist is surprised when she hears his voice. Lily said she would handle the receptionist after their last encounter. But what exactly did Lily do? Anyway, Gil explains his business. He's looking for 5 people with mineral mining, skill above B rank, and 5 with item storage, skill above C rank. The receptionist asks him to wait while she checks a book. Unfortunately, her search doesn't find anyone with mineral mining skill. The receptionist is nervous and apologizes a lot. Gil, surprised by her behavior, asks her to raise her head. Despite their past interaction, the receptionist regrets her earlier behavior. But Gil forgives her and asks her to cheer up. He then asks the receptionist at the front desk to send his message to 5 people with item storage skill and contact him when she finds someone with mineral mining skill. Afterwards, he left the guild with the receptionist thanking him. We can't find what Lily did to her though. Gil knew finding a freelancer with mineral mining skill above rank B is very rare. So, all he can do for now is wait. His stomach growled and it's evening, so Gil goes to a place to eat. It won't do him any good thinking about that, so he decided to take a break. He went to the tavern for a change once in a while. After he tells the server what he wants to eat, someone he knows comes up to him. It's Zenth, the manager of a refinery guild. They haven't met for a long time, and they decided to share a meal there. If Zenth remembers right, the last time he saw Gil was at a meeting in Golden Hawk. Zenth thinks Gil has probably become an elite member by now, and has done many great things. But, to Zenth's surprise, Gil tells him that he got kicked out of Golden Hawk. But Gil says there's no need to worry about him, he's doing fine. At least with Gil out of Golden Hawk, Zenth can complain about something that's been bothering him. Zenth hits the table with his fists as it was unbearable. Working with Lucius has been really hard. Lucius made the metal workers do other jobs, and demanded them to deliver a rank A iron at the price of 200 golds. The cost of rank A iron in the market is 300 gold. On top of that, Lucius told them to make the best silver items. A great lord is looking for the perfect thing to give as a gift for his daughter's wedding. He's having a silver fair to find this perfect item. Zenth's refiners are gone, and his guild must sell A rank iron at a lower price. He doesn't know how to continue his business. In this situation, Gil proposed to sell rank A iron for 100 gold each. Zenth was excited and wondered if Gil would be really okay with it. In exchange, Gil wanted Zenth to lend him 5 employees skilled in mineral mining above B rank. Zenth had no problem in that and they made a deal. In that way, both of them could benefit each other. Zenth wonders if there's a bigger reason behind this agreement, but he still vows to help Gil in any way he can. They shared drinks to celebrate their successful cooperation. After some celebratory drinks, Gil walks through town, drunk but relieved to have secured manpower. He moved another step forward. Then Gil sees a hooded girl selling flowers. That kid looks too small to be a salesgirl and her voice is also too thin. When she tried to sell it to a stranger, he rudely pushed her. The girl fell down and Gil ran to her rescue. The girl then revealed her face, she is an elf with silver hair. All of the flowers were scattered and Gil helped her to pick it up. She thanks Gil for helping her. Gil then decided to buy a flower from the girl. But she gave it to him for free. She smiled brightly as it was her gratitude for his help. Gil then inquired her whether she liked her current job. Looking at her expression, he could say that she hated it. Gil reveals that his skill can discover people's talents. He offers to appraise her talent in return for her flower. She shyly accepts Gil's offer. Gil started to appraise her, and wished for her to have the best results. To his surprise, her skills are exceptional. He wondered about the identity of that kid with a huge shock. The girl's status shows she has S-rank potential in silver crafting and enchanting. She also had a rank potential in product design and material development. Since his explosion, she was the only talent he found with a potential of rank S. Would he be able to spoil Lucius' plans by recruiting her and win the silver fair? But it seemed she also had a dark past behind her. Please like and subscribe to know the future endeavors of Gil, the skill appraiser's revenge story.